Alabama travels to Norman, Oklahoma. Alabama, last I checked, I did not check today, was a 1.5-point favorite. Well, depending on where you go, I think you can get Oklahoma as a favorite in some places.
Really?
At 1.5. So it's kind of flip flopped. Man, I don't know what to. I don't know, man. Like here's my thing. Go
Normally
ahead.
on Bama games, I go first.
Yeah,
I want
that's
to hear
true.
your take. I want to hear your take. No, I want to hear your take on it this week first.
I just like so. Oklahoma fans are gonna hate me, like because they don't like, and I get it because I'm a fan of a team that's happened to. It's happened with Kirby. The post game win expectancy. It takes the predictive stats of any given game, and it tosses them in the air, and it just says, "Hey, with these stats, you would have won this game X percentage of the time." The Sooners' post-game win expectancy against Bama was 5%. That's the fifth lowest post-game win expectancy of the year for a winning team. It was a game where Alabama had 412 yards or 400 and something plus yards, and Oklahoma only had 212. It was a game Ty Simpson had 3 turnovers. But on the flip side of that, Ty's looked like that for the last several weeks now. And to hammer that point, Ty Simpson's first 10 games, 80.6 total QBR, 67 completion percentage, 7 yards per dropback, 81.1% catchable pass rate. His last 2 games, this is just his last 2 games. 55.1 total QBR, 51% completion rate, 3.7 yards per dropback, and 70.3% catchable pass rate. And there's been a lot of hate towards Ty Simpson, how bad he's been playing, but I think it's more the offensive line. And I think it's more the lack of the run game, because what I'm thinking is happening now, and I'm not a coach, Sean's in watching. I think teams just figured out they can't run the ball. So just send the effing house. Because they're not going to run the ball. They can't. They're not even really trying. So let's just send the house, and I think that's affecting the O-line, and then obviously it's affecting Simpson. And the one thing, though, for me is, like, I've seen it with Bama, though. I've seen that offense be good. I haven't seen that with Oklahoma yet.
Yeah. So, look, I kind of agree with everything that you said. The team has definitely not played as well the last couple of weeks. I think a lot of that has to do with, we talk about the offensive line, but Jam Miller being out is huge in the pass blocking game for Bama. Everything I've read, that pass blocking is just completely different when Jam's not in the game, and you have different running backs in there and stuff. So, I don't know. Here's my take on this game, though. And I told you this on the phone earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking for DeBoer to come out, have this team fired up, and put a beat down in Norman tomorrow night. Look, it's a playoff game. I'm not looking for a 4-touchdown win. But
sorry, I was echoing in my headphones.
Yeah.
No, I think it might be you causing me to echo.
It is. Mike's too close. How about now?
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry,
right,
guys.
I'm back.
Got my mic too close.
No. Yeah. Anyhow, look, I'm looking for Bama to go in tomorrow. They've already shown they're the better team on the field. And look, kudos to Oklahoma. They won that football game. I'm not one to sit here and make excuses. Look, they caused the turnovers. We had the turnovers. We could have them again tomorrow. But just from a mindset standpoint, you've got a team that you are facing in an elimination game that has beat you the last 2 years. It did cost you everything you were working towards last year. Almost did this year because of how you didn't show up to the SEC championship. The mindset has got to be just beat down. And we've talked about this with DeBoer. That's what I feel like we're missing. We are missing that just cutthroat mentality, and that's why we keep having these close football games, just like we did with Oklahoma the first time. We just let them keep hanging around, and then, we get a turnover inside the red zone almost. And next thing you know, it's like, wait, we lost.
Yeah.
So I said it with last week when you were out to Pops, and I'll say it just because you're here now. If Bama doesn't come out looking dominant tomorrow night, I'm going to have 1 foot off the DeBoer bandwagon.
Really?
I really am. And I'm not. I have not been that way. But I will. I just think this is a game where you have everything in front of you. This is a new season, and you're playing the team that has taken everything away from you, almost the last 2 seasons. It's a mentality.
Interesting. That's been the general sentiment among people is that.
Hey, not to cut you off, ESPN bets Oklahoma 1.5 now.
Jesus.
So
DeBoer to Michigan.
It's flipped. That's why when you started talking, my mouth kind of dropped. I don't think it was that earlier today because I'm pretty sure I looked at it. Yeah.
I thought Athletes Forum podcast brought up a good point. When was the last time DeBoer team blew out someone, though?
Absolutely.
That's a good point there. I can't think of one other than like cupcake games. But if we're talking just strictly P4 or good games, it doesn't happen very often.
No, I think we pulled away from LSU, but even it was fairly close for a while. Wait, no, never mind. LSU was only 20-9, and I felt like that was a beatdown, I guess, because of what I'm used to.
You know what else they got to do? They got to figure out, man. We got to figure out what the hell's going on with Ryan Williams. He has been absolutely. I'll say he's been absolutely dreadful this year. He has, dude. His drop rate is 13.4%. Now everybody's gonna be like, well, that don't sound very high. The national average is 5%.
Yeah. I know at one time late in the season, and it's probably still there. He led the SEC in drops, and you were supposed to be. There were some people who had him, picked in the Heisman race, preseason.
Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, I don't know, man. It almost just feels like an effort. Sometimes it feels like an effort issue to me, just watching him. I hope it's not that, but I have read some concerning, things about him. But if we hadn't had Jeremy Bernard show up in the first half of the season, and I think he showed up mainly because people thought Ryan Williams was going to be that guy. Because even he, now that he's on everybody's radar, hasn't been everything, So I don't know. We need Ryan Williams to step up next 4 games.
Yeah, I also think it's also the fact. I'll be honest. I don't think he's a total complete wide receiver. I don't think he's like a complete wide receiver. I think he can make some dazzling catches from time to time, as he did in the Georgia game. That what was it last year? The spin, like the crazy, he can. He has that ability, but I don't know that he's like a real complete wide receiver from like the route running and blocking and all that. The catching, he obviously catching is a problem. I don't know. I think the one thing that's going to help Alabama is a lot of players are coming back. Jam Miller possibly. The tight end. I can't even remember his name now.
Cuevas
is back.
That's a huge. We missed him. That's Ty's, safety blanket. And don't get me. I say it as Ty. Every quarterback has one. every great quarterback has a safety blanket that they know, hey, when I need a completion, I can go to this guy. And Cuevas has become that guy this year. So that is as big as Jam possibly being back.
Yeah, and on the Oklahoma side of things, man, I like their defense is elite. Obviously, the front seven is crazy, and I mean they got after it last time, so that's a concern for the Bama side of things. But they are, like I mentioned this in the season, they are gettable in a sense of the pass game because Ole Miss got them. I think while Tennessee lost, if I remember correctly, they were getting them in the air, and that's why I picked Alabama last time because I felt like Alabama, because I think it was it the Oklahoma game when Alabama started to slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was. And I'm sitting there like, that's why I picked Alabama because I was like, they have a pass game that can expose that secondary. Also, dude, I'll be honest, I'm the biggest Ryan Grubb lover. I haven't been that impressed with him here lately. Like, I was impressed with him early on in the year, but I feel like now that it's like teams are starting to figure out like, hey, you know, we ain't got to stop the run. We ain't even got to worry about the run. Like, we do not have to worry about the run with Alabama because it's not I don't think teams are doing anything special to stop the run. It's more so like they just can't run the ball. And so don't worry about that. Just send the house. And I don't think Grubb's done a good job of countering that. Like, and I'm really shocked by that because I think Grubb's one of the better offensive coordinators when he was at Washington. And you know how much I love Grubb. Hell, I call this the most massive hire DeBoer's made at Alabama. And so I just ain't been impressed with him here lately either.
It's definitely felt different since, and I sound like a terrible analyst and fan right now because I cannot think of the guy's name that went to Oregon State. But he was essentially our co-offensive coordinator. And, you know, they kind of played a little, you know, that guy was down on the field and Grubb stayed up in the booth. And, you know, Grubb's had to come down on the field since he, you know, took over duties at Oregon State. And I don't know. It's felt different for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's been some adjustment there to just, you know, just things being different.
Austin's 401k, by the way, not yours. I mean, not his.
That's all right. We'll split
Austin's pretty successful and rich, so he ain't.
Don't do that. But anyhow, it was the Georgia game was the most interesting because it wasn't that we couldn't. It wasn't that we couldn't run the ball.
Are you talking about the Georgia game recently or the Georgia game at the beginning?
Yeah. I'm talking about the last one, the SEC championship.
Oh, never mind. No, it wasn't impressive at all.
No. What I mean by that is it wasn't that we couldn't run the ball. Matter of fact, I thought we had a couple of runs where we got a couple pushes. You know, I mean, it wasn't great, but our leading rusher had 4 carries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which is funny because I've screamed all year. You know, this will tell you what us what they call them armchair quarterbacks will do. You know, I've screamed all year like screw the run game. We can't do it. Just do something else. And then we go a game and Ryan Grubb says, you know what? Maybe Austin, you're right. Screw the run game. I'm gonna do something else. Well, Ryan, I don't get paid millions of dollars to coach a football team. Don't listen to me. Let's run the football.
I've battled with this game. So I had to do a well, hold on. I want to ask you this though before we get to our picks. I thought this was fascinating. And this kind of helped me make my pick. It kind of pushed me over the edge. I was listening a couple of days ago to a podcast and it had some Indiana people on it. And they were asking them what Indiana fans thought who they would want to play. Like, would it be Bama or Oklahoma? And the majority, and then I asked on a TikTok live on our show account, a couple of Indiana fans got in our TikTok, you know, saying go Hoosiers, all that stuff. So I said, hey, I want to ask y'all a question because I heard this earlier. Who would y'all rather play, Alabama, Oklahoma? Who are you rooting for? You know, the majority said they want to play Oklahoma. They do not want Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that speaks volumes because I think Indiana knows the potential of Alabama because we've seen it.
Yep.
We've seen it. We've seen what it looks like when Ryan Williams, the other receiver, and Ty Simpson and the tight end, and we've seen what that passing attack. We've seen what Ryan Grubb can cook up Georgia third game of the season, not the SEC championship game. And I think that every Indiana fan I've talked to and I've heard on the radio, heard on the comments, and heard on Twitter, they want Oklahoma to win because they think they can just beat. They think that's a win.
Yeah.
Because they're not worried about Oklahoma's offense. And while Bama's defense or offense has looked really bad, but it does have that potential because we've seen it. So Sean said this ain't the Alabama old, quit being scared. Oh man.
Sean, you just go
face.
Hey, Pops, it's basketball season. Go cut ESPN2 on, man. Women's basketball's on right now.
Pop's going to get us for that one. Oh, God. We love Pops. Man, I'm going to Alabama. Roll Tide, baby.
I like it. So here's what I will say. Obviously, joking with Pops a little bit there. I'm with Sean. And that's my problem is I think talent-wise, they're not – this is the best defensive team we've had in years, even counting Nick Saban's last, probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Talent-wise, this team is as good as the Alabama of old. Maybe not on the O-line, but everywhere else it is. But it's that they just don't have that killer mentality. And that's what I'm looking for. Give me the mentality of the old Bama, and I'm happy. But I'm with you. Give me Bama and Norman. There was a take in there earlier. You missed it. And I said the offense I said Ryan Williams is going to have to play really good for the next 4 games.
Say that again. I
said Ryan Williams is going to have to play really good for the next 4 games.
I thought that was what you damn said. If depending on how Alabama wins this game, I do think, and I know the Alabama fans, or not the Alabama fans, the Alabama haters that don't even like that they're in the tournament is going to hate me for saying this. There's 2 teams in this tournament, and we'll get to one in a minute, that I think has the potential to do what Ohio State did last year. And when I say that is, what does that mean? Like, people forget that Ohio State in the regular season had the loss to Michigan, had a loss to Oregon, and quite frankly, didn't really look good in a lot of other games.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look good. And then they get in the playoffs, and we're like, what's going on with this Ohio State team? Because this Ohio State team is super talented. I mean, they had one of the best rosters, even when they were struggling last year. Then they got into the playoffs, and they were gangbusters. Yeah. I do think Alabama's one of those teams with that potential because of what Ty Simpson and those wide receivers did and the tight end and the defense playing well. I think they have that potential. But so if I see them win the Oklahoma game where those things are clicking, I'm starting to worry. I'm going to start worrying we're going to get another Georgia-Bama. And but if they do it in a way of like last time, it's played exactly like last time, but Bama, it flips. Bama wins by 3 in a sloppy game, then I'm not concerned. I think Indiana beats them in the next round.
Yeah. No, look, my fandom says they've got to play good for the next 4 games. I don't think they've got to turn that offense around a lot. Everything you said is right. It has potential because it's done it. We've seen them do it. But I don't know if a light switch flips that quick or not. But we'll see. Unfortunately, I think the Ohio State of last year is going to be the Georgia Bulldogs.
We'll get to